Hello once again. Welcome to another session on Counselor Business Innovation Masterclass. Today we are going to be looking at, in our series on how money works, we are going to be talking about 5 money lessons that you must learn. Recently, I've been involved in the burial of a lot of businesses. What I mean is that I've been involved in the closing of a lot of businesses, and these are businesses that were barely 2 years old, and after the owners have struggled for about 2 years, they called us, 2 to 3 years, they called us to help them sell off these businesses. And one of the key things is that most of these people are people who fail to learn the 5 money lessons that we'll be talking about today. And I believe that if you can follow us today in these money lessons, that you will learn how to avoid making them. If you are in business, you're about to start your own business. Now, I want to start with a key aspect of what I call, we are all self-made. I know you would have heard about self-made millionaires, self-made billionaires, but what you might not be hearing about so much is self-made poor men, self-made poor women. But what you also need to understand is that each and every one of us, wherever we are in life, that we are actually self-made. We made ourselves our current situation, which means if you look at your life and you are very successful, there are certain factors that drove your success. And if you actually look at yourself and you're very poor, there are certain factors that ensure that you are going to be very poor. And these key factors is what I called your choices. The choices you make on a daily basis will determine whether you'll be self-made billionaire or self-made poverty-near. And in today's lesson, we are going to be looking at 5 categories of lessons that when you understand them, you can guarantee that by the choices you make on a daily basis, by the decisions you make on a daily basis, that your life will end up as a self-made millionaire, self-made billionaire instead of a self-made poverty-near. So what is the first lesson? Now, this lesson has to do with the parable that a Jewish rabbi told years ago. And it's the parable of a sower that went out to sow. And I will now tie it up with a key money principle that if you grasp, it will show you how to invest, how to manage your money. So he says that this guy went out to sow, and he sowed in 5 kinds of field. That the first seed fell on the wayside. The next seed fell on shallow ground. The next seed fell among thorns. The next set of seed fell on good soil. The final set of seed never left the bag. Now, you might now say, what is the money principle behind this? So, assuming you want to go into business, a lot of people just see the first business opportunity and then jump into it. A lot of people don't have any financial wisdom. They've not tried to acquire financial knowledge. And the moment they see the first business opportunity, what do? They jump into it, and they are more like those that go into the wayside. And for those who hit the wayside, what happens? When you go into a business that you don't understand, the chances of making anything out of that business most times is less than 10%. It means that most money you'll be pouring into a business that you don't understand. Most investments you'll be making to a business that you've not taken out time to actually study how the industry works. The chances that your money will be taken by others, by the vultures of that industry, is about 95%. What this means is that for every industry, every sector, there are vultures hanging around to try to devour your money. And if you don't understand this, that once you step into any business that you don't understand, the first set of people that will come after you are the vultures. They say I was listening to a key investor, and he said there's a way to make little money in any industry. And the way is to go into the industry with big money and deal with people who you don't understand. And before long, you'll make little money out of it. It means that when you don't understand how the statistics guiding an industry works, the business metrics, the financial metrics guiding an industry works, when you don't understand it, 90% is that you end your money by the wayside and you lose everything there. Now, the second money lesson that you must learn is that there are shallow soils. What does it mean? You might have taken out time to study an industry, might have taken out time to read about an industry, and you feel that you understand it. And you see that there is a trend in this industry that you understand that you want to go into. But you fail to understand there is what is also called industry time-related knowledge. There is what is called experiential knowledge that only experience from working in that industry for a certain number of months or years will gain for you. And what happens? Like the second set of seed that fell on the soil, and because the soil was very nutritious, they started to grow. Immediately they started to prosper. But what they didn't understand was that they did not understand there was a part of depth that was very important in the success of a business. It means there's a depth of knowledge, not just about acquiring knowledge. There's a depth of knowledge that you must acquire as an operator in a particular industry for you to succeed in that industry. And once you don't have that depth of knowledge, once you start, what will happen? Immediately you start to see results. You start to see immediate results, but what you also don't take into consideration is that the heat comes after immediate results. Every industry has a heat that is associated with it. And because you don't understand this, you start and you invest some money and you're seeing some results. When it was time to now start to reaping the dividend of that industry, what happens? The business you started will suddenly start to wither and die. Now, there's a young man that I encouraged to venture into a new field, and he ventured into this new field, and after about 1 year, he said he wanted to start his own. I said, young man, why not give this thing some time? He said he has been in this thing, he thinks he has understood everything about this industry. I said, okay, go ahead. So he started investing, he took the money he had saved and poured into this line of business. And before you know it, the business actually started to grow, and it was actually doing well. But within a space of about 6 months, I invited him to my office and we started to do some calculation. And when we found out that within that, after the initial burst of growth, that he had actually lost about 30-something% of the business money he invested into that business. You must understand for money. The money lesson is that when the knowledge you have doesn't have depth, that shallow knowledge tends to give almost instantaneous results, but those results don't last. The money knowledge, when you want to invest in any business, requires you pay strong attention to the in-depth knowledge of that business. You take out time to study that business over a long time. That no business that you go into it for a quick fix solution will give you results. that you must actually study that business to understand what are the basics, what are the things that you need to learn from experience that books and lectures will not teach you. When you fail to get this particular grasp of the money knowledge that you need to get, what will happen? You start to lose the money that you have actually already invested. The third part that most people don't understand, third lesson, is about the thorns. You might get into a business, all the metrics are right, all the standards are right, all the financials are right, but you don't study the environment. You don't study the business partners you are going into this business relationship with. You don't study the kind of people who are operating in this industry. And what happens? You invest in this industry and your business starts to grow, but you find out that as the business is growing, the more you are pouring money into it, the more the business is sucking and going down. There was a young man that became a distributor for a company, and he failed to understand that there were certain things about this business that he didn't know. And he went into a business partnership with certain people there. This was a viable business. This was a very lucrative business. But the harder he was working in this business, the more money they were making, the more debt they were accumulating. And over a period of about 3 to 4 years, a business that they started, that they took an inventory of what they had, and this business did not have an asset base of up to 4 million. And when they calculated what they had invested in this business over the past 4 years of this business running, they realized that they have poured in about 30 million into this business. They went back, looked at this business. This business was still, all the indicators showed that this was a wonderful business. But the key factor that they missed was, who are their partners? Who are their partners? Your business success to generate money is as important, is a factor that is determined by the partners you work with, your suppliers, your business associates, your friends. The people you relate with in making business decisions are more critical than the nature of the business you are going into. If you don't understand this money business, this money lesson, and you go into business without asking yourself, who are the people that I'm going to partner with in running this business? What are the categories of staff that I need to bring on board in running this business? I can tell you that you start that business, and within the first set of few months, few years, what will happen? You start to see the business going higher and higher. But one thing will always be worrying you. You will notice that the more money you are pouring into this business, yes, it seems that this business is growing, that this business has potential, but the more money you are pouring into this business, the more you are sinking into a deeper financial hole. So your money success is directly related to a very large part to the people you are going to be interacting with in pushing that business forward. It's not solely about that this is a very good business, strategically located, we have a very good product that we are going to be marketing. It's also about who are the people that you are going to go into this business partnership with. In fact, there's a story of one of the most successful pharmaceutical companies that had to be folded up. And what happened? It was started by a group of young men, and these young men had awesome products, and they were marketing and they were doing wonderfully well. But before you know it, they started to compete amongst themselves. This one buys a Range Rover, every other one wants to buy, and all of them buy a Range Rover. This one buys a Lexus Jeep, all of them wants to buy, and all were dipping their hands into the resources of the business to pull out money to take care of their personal needs. And before long, this business that was planted on a fertile soil suddenly started to die, and today is no more. It died because of the thorns of those who were involved in the business. Now the final one is that the fourth one, money lesson that you must learn, before that will save your business is identifying a fertile soil. Which means you must train yourself, no matter how long it takes you, to know how to identify a good business environment, identify a good business nature, identify the good business partners that you need to go into business relationship with. So about this, there's one of our clients that currently has a chain of pharmacy shops. And this young man, when he joined the company, he stayed in that same company for about 10 years. And within that 10 years period, he was pouring himself into this company to study everything about that company, how they were running their business, how they were growing. Along the line, other companies were coming, inviting him to come and join them. We are making him far, far better, 5 times what he was currently, what he was earning in his organization, for him to come and join them, but he refused. Now his key reason was that he knew that in the next 10 years, that he gave himself a 10 years timeline to work. After that, which he would start his own business. And that during that period, he needed to understand how businesses worked. So what was he doing? He was building the soil of his business knowledge. He was learning about people and their character. The kind of people to go into business relationship with, the kind of people not to go into business relationship with. He was looking at business environment, the kind of environment that once you set up your business will make it thrive. He was looking at the kind of businesses that you go into, the kind of businesses that if you put money into will start to give you returns. What this young man learned was that identifying quality soil, identifying the business environment, identifying the kind of place you're going to site your business, the kind of people you are going to work with, is a key money lesson that you must learn. That without you learning this lesson, you might think you might have identified the right environment, but immediately you plant, what happens? It starts to be choked up. We help him also do recruitment, and we find him rejecting a certain kind of people. And when we tell him that this guy is very intelligent, say yes, this person is very intelligent, but based on where we are going to, this person doesn't fit into the culture that we are trying to build. It means that he's actually selecting a particular kind of people. And when I studied his business, I noticed that, yes, in the industry, the average stay rate of most pharmacists in a working place is about 6 months, maximum 1 year. Which means the turnover rate in the industry is between 6 months to 1 year. But in his own company, the minimum turnover rate is about 2 to 3 years. A lot of people are saying to 3 years and above in his industry, which means people are getting to stay longer because he had taken out time to study the business environment and the nature of the environment. And that is the kind of people who will get 60-fold, 30-fold, and 100-fold results based on their investment. It means that if you have not taken out time to study the business, study the quality of soil, and not be deceived by something that looks nice without trying to understand what is the depth of energy that I need to invest in this business for it to start to give me the returns I expect. Because somebody will look at a shallow soil, the top looks okay, you feel that okay, I need to actually start to pour money into this kind of soil. But he failed to realize that he needed to use something like a stick to dig into the soil to see how deep is this soil. Can it support the kind of structure I want to plant upon it? It's when you have checked, can this environment support the kind of business structure I want to put upon it? That's when that will determine, okay, this is the right place to start. And also, have you looked at the people that you want to work with and say, is this the kind of people that I want to work with? This environment, is this kind of environment, though it looks nice, but the people around here, this is the kind of people that I want to work with. And when it's not the right people, you don't invest. But when you have taken out time to study the environment, and you have noticed that everything is in the right place, what do you start to do? You start to invest in the venture that you're setting up. And finally, we want to look at the 5th group of people, and those are the people that never left the investment bag. They stay behind. You find out that though there are people that they are completely risk averse, they will never take any risk whatsoever. They feel that they want to save the money that they have. They feel that, yes, other people are investing and getting good results. People are studying the environment, but let me hold on to what I have. Unfortunately, they don't know the fifth money lesson, which is once you hold on to money, inflation will be taking it away from you. What's a simple example? Let's use an example of a bottle of, let's say for instance, you have last year, by this time last year, you had in your hand about 1,000 naira, for instance. Now let's say by that last year, a bottle of malt was selling for about 100 naira, which means during that period you could actually buy with your 1,000, you could actually have bought how many? 10 bottles, right? Now, but you can say, instead of buying these 10 bottles and as an asset and keeping that I can sell off anytime, let me know I don't understand drinks, so let me keep my 1,000. So your friend buys 10 bottles and keeps it. Now, after 1 year, what happens? Suddenly the bottle of malt has gone from 100 naira to 150. So your friend decides to sell his 10 bottle of malt for how much? 150 for 140. So he now has 1,400. So you, how much do you still have? You have your 1,000, but do you still have 1,000? No, you don't have 1,000, because assuming visitors come to your place and you want to buy more for them, what do you need to do? You need to go and borrow extra 400 naira for you to be able to buy the 10 bottles of more that you would have been able to buy with your 1,000 naira before. So don't just think that, okay, all I need to do is let me save my money in the bank. You're actually not saving your money. You are actually losing money, because apart from that too, if you are operating in the Nigerian financial sector, and if you own an account in Nigeria, you would have noticed a lot of things, that you're having different kinds of charges being attracted to your account. So which means, let's assume you still have the 1,000 naira saved in your bank account, and so your bank on a yearly basis charges you an account maintenance fee of how much? 100 naira. So let's say you left this 1,000 naira and traveled, and they charge you an account maintenance fee of how much? 100 naira. Now, also at the point of deposit, they will charge you a transaction fee of how much? 50 naira. It means that when you also come to withdraw that money, they will charge you another transaction fee of how much? 50 naira. So after 1 year of leaving your money in the bank, when you come to collect it, how much do you have? Instead of having 1,000 naira, you have 800 naira left. But do you have 800 naira left? No, because inflation would have jumped up such that what you would have bought with 1,000 naira, now you require extra 400 naira to buy it. So you need to now start to source for extra 600 naira to increase what the 1,000 naira you have, which has been shut down by your bank to 800 naira. So that you need to get 600 naira to it for you to be able to get up to 1,400. That qualifies to get you what 1,000 naira would have gotten you a year before. It means that financial ignorance can ruin you. It means that playing it safe can ruin you. There is nothing as important for you as gaining financial wisdom. And I hope that this lesson has made a sense to you. So join us in our next series on how money works. Watch all our videos on YouTube and on Facebook so that you can watch the other series that we've been posting and running, so you can actually understand how money works and not be making some business financial decision that will be shutting your business down. Thank you for watching. If you want to join us, you can check us out chat us up on WhatsApp on 090-2094-5693, and we'll be available to answer any of your questions or for you to register for our full course program. Thank you once again, and God bless you.